Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss Unit 6 of Block 2 of Financial Management. The topic of our discussion today is Investment Appraisal Methods, which is also known as Capital Budgeting. We know that financial management deals with two things. First one is obtaining funds. Second one is effective utilization of funds. When we obtain funds, our purpose should be to obtain funds at low cost, or our cost of capital should be low. Once we obtain the funds, then funds are to be employed. Funds are to be invested. Generally, the funds are invested in assets of the company. The assets may be of two types. One is fixed assets, another is current assets. Generally, fixed assets are required to establish the business. So, investment appraisals may be of two types. One is long-term investment decision and short-term investment decisions. Long-term investment decisions are investment decision in fixed assets. These assets are required for establishing the business. And some assets are required for running the business, that is short-term investment decisions. Those are known as working capital decisions. In today's class, we will discuss long-term investment decisions or long-term investment appraisals. The scheme of our discussion will be, first I will give an introduction, then we will discuss need for investment decisions. Next, we will discuss factors affecting investment decisions. Then we will discuss type of investment proposals. Next, we will discuss investment appraisal process. Next, we will discuss some methods of investment decisions, traditional methods and discounted or modern methods. At last, we will discuss some limitation of investment appraisal techniques. This will be our scheme of discussion today. First, let me first tell you what is long-term investment decisions. Long-term investment decisions are also known as capital budgeting decisions. We have discussed. Capital budgeting decisions are those decisions in which cash outflow will be in initial year and cash inflow will come in subsequent year. Let's take an example. You purchase a big machinery. The investment in machinery is to be made today, and the machinery will run and generate revenue for the business in the coming years. This type of decisions are capital budgeting decisions. These are decisions related to long-term investment proposal of the business. These decisions establish the business. So what are the different type of capital investment decisions? Why capital investments are necessary? Generally, capital investments are necessary for setting a business. When you set a new business, when you start a new business, we have to start a new project. You have to launch a new product. We have to take this decision. Setting of decisions. Next, capital investment decisions are required for expansion. Expansion decisions. If we want to expand our business, if we want to enter into new operations or diversify our business, we require capital budgeting decision. For expansion, we require capital budgeting decision. Next thing, we require capital budgeting decision to get new technology. We know that if we will not adopt new technology, we will be obsolete. The business will be obsolete. So in order to introduce new technology, we require capital budgeting decisions. Similarly, we also require capital budgeting decisions at the time of setting up a new machinery, at the time of taking decisions for a operating lease, we require capital budgeting decisions. Next, we are or capital lease. When we take a capital lease, we require capital budgeting decisions. Next, what are the factors affecting investment decisions? When we take capital budgeting decisions, we have to first consider certain factors. What are the factors? Generally, we consider three important factors. First factor is the capital outlay of the business. Capital outlay means how much money is required. Next, we have to find out the cost of capital of the business. We have to discount the cash flows of the new operation at a rate. That discount rate is known as cost of capital, which we have discussed in our last class. Next, we have to find out the criteria on the basis of which we will select a project or reject a project. These are the three things required in case of capital budgeting decision. Next, we will discuss what are types of capital budgeting decision or types of investment proposal. Generally, capital budgeting decisions are of following four types. Some are expansion decisions. The business want to expand its operation. It is producing 2000 units per day. Now the business want to set up new machinery, new plant and increase its operation to 5000 units per day. These are expansion decisions. Capital budgeting decisions includes diversification decision. If the business wants to diversify into new field, the business is into liquor or spirit making business. Now it wants to go to airline business. I am talking of Kingfisher. It was in United Breweries. Its main operation. It went to Kingfisher Airlines. That's a diversification decision. You want to change the line of business. Then replacement decision. What is replacement decision or modernization decision? You want to change your old machinery with new machinery. You want to replace old plant with new plant. That is a modernization decision. Then research and development decisions. You want to innovate some new product. This type of decisions are included under capital budgeting decisions. Next, how these capital budgeting decisions are appraised. How they are appraised. What are the techniques used in appraisal of capital budgeting decisions? Generally, the financial appraisal of capital budgeting decisions are made by using two types of methods. One is known as traditional methods, or these are non-discounted methods. Traditional methods or non-discounted methods. These traditional methods or non-discounted methods do not consider time value of money. That means these methods do not consider time value of money. They think that 1 rupee of now is equal to of 1 rupee of 1 year back, 1 year forward, and 2 year forward, 3 year forward, 4 year forward. 1 rupee of today is equal to 1 rupee of 1 year forward, equal to 1 rupee of 2 years forward, equal to 1 rupee of 3 years forward. Money received in different years are of same value. These traditional methods assume these. They are non-discounted methods. They do not consider time value of money. Do not consider TVM, time value of money. These traditional methods are very popular methods. They are simple methods. They are popular methods, but they are not scientific methods. Traditional methods are simple, but not scientific. As they are simple, they are popular also. So what are the traditional methods? The traditional methods are payback period method and accounting rate of return method, which is known as ARR method. So there are two methods, payback period methods and ARR methods. These are traditional methods. These are simple methods. These are popular methods. But these methods are not scientific because they do not consider time value of money. Next, we will discuss some modern methods or discounted cash flow methods. These methods considers time value of money. These are modern methods and they consider time value of money, TVM. These are based upon TVM. These are based upon present value concept. These methods considers present value of inflows and present value of outflows. So traditional methods compares only cash inflow and cash outflow, but modern methods compares present value of inflow and present value of outflow. What are the modern methods? Modern methods we will discuss three. Net present value method, which is known as NPV method. Next, internal rate of return method, which is known as IRR method. And the last one is profitability index method, which is known as PI method. So these are three modern methods, NPV, IRR and PI. We will discuss one after another. First, traditional methods. As I have already discussed, what is traditional methods? The traditional methods do not consider time value of money. They think that 1 rupee of today is equal to 1 rupee of 1 year later, is equal to 1 rupee of 2 years later, is equal to 1 rupee of 3 years later. Money received on 1 rupee received on different time period are of same value. These methods assume that. They do not consider time value of money. So, this first method under traditional method is payback period method. What is payback period? Payback period simply means the time a project takes to recover the investment made in it. In how many times the investment made in a project is recovered by the owner. That is known as payback period. In Hindi, we call it कितने साल में पैसा वापस, उसको बोलते हैं पेबैक पीरियड. आप अगर एक प्रोजेक्ट में पैसा लगाए हैं, कितने साल में आपका प्रोजेक्ट का जो पैसा लगाए थे वो वापस मिल जाएगा, उसको बोलते हैं पेबैक पीरियड. So payback period simply means the period in which the amount invested in the project is recovered. Let's take an example. Suppose in a project you invest 5 lakh and the annual cash inflow from the project will be 1 lakh. You have invested 5 lakh, annually you will get 1 lakh each in every year from the project. In how many years you will recover the money? 5 lakh divided by 1 lakh, that is equal to 5 years. And this 5 year is known as payback period. So simply, payback period is the period in which amount invested is recovered. Let's take an example. I have taken a simple example where annual cash inflows are equal. Every year you recover 1 lakh rupees. But practically this is not possible. Practically the situation might be like this. Suppose illustration number 6.2. Suppose in a project you invest 500. If you invest 500,000 rupees in 1,000. So investment will be in negative because you have put your money. In 0 year you put 500. In first year you get back 185. In second year you get back 125. In third year, you get back 130. In fourth year, you get back 170. And in fifth year, you get back 180. Find out the payback period. What we will do here? We will calculate the cumulative cash flow. What is cumulative cash flow? You have invested 500 here and you recover 185 in the first year. How much more to recover? 500 you have invested, 185 you recovered, you have to recover 315 more. Next year you recover 125. How much you have to recover? You have to recover 190 more. Third year you recover 140. How much more to recover? You have to recover 50 more. 190 minus 140 is equal to 50. You have to recover 50, and in fourth year you recovered 170. So your profit, or after recovery, you generate 120 additional. Now please see, your entire money is recovered in the third year plus some months. You have recovered in third year plus within third to fourth year you recover the money. The entire 500 money is recovered here because the minus is converted into plus in this particular year. So your payback period is between 3 to 4 years. Your payback period is between 3 to 4 years. But how much is the exact payback period? How we will calculate? We will calculate it with the help of a simple formula. Formula is P is equal to E plus B by C. What is P? Payback period is equal to E. E means minimum. Minimum, what is 3 to 4 years? That means 3 years plus. How much you have to recover here? 3 year के बाद में आपको कितना रिकवर करना है? So 3 year के बाद में we have to recover 50. And this 50 amount is to be recovered in which year? It has to be recovered in fourth year. What is the amount in fourth year? Recovery. Recovery is 170. So 3 years plus 50 by 170 years. It is coming to 3 plus 0.29. That is equal to 3.29 years. So your payback period is 3.29 years. So in 3.29 years, you recover the entire money invested in the project. This is known as payback period. Now, how you take decisions on the basis of payback period? Now, every entrepreneur has a desired payback period in his mind. Let's take an example. I am an entrepreneur. I have decided that in any project in which I will get back my money within 4 years, I will put my money there. But calculated payback period is 4.5 years. I have decided I will put money only when payback period is 4. But actually, the amount is to be recovered in 4.5 years. With the help of expected cash flow, I decide that I found out that if I put my money in this project, I will get back in 4.5 years. So in that case, I will not put my money. I will reject that project. I will accept only those projects whose calculated payback with expected inflows and outflows, calculated payback is less than desired payback. That is the decision criteria under payback period method. Let's take an example. Suppose I have two projects in hand, project A and project B. I have calculated, I have estimated the inflows and outflow of these two projects. Project A and project B, I have calculated its estimated inflows and its estimated outflows. And I have calculated the payback period of project A and project B. In project A, I find out the payback period is 3.25 years. And in project B, I found out it to be 2 years. Now, which one to select? If I have to select between A and B, which one to select? I will select that project in which the money is recovered fast. That means I have to select that project where payback period is less. So in this case, I will select this project and I will reject this project. If I have to select between A and B, one, I will select B. Or I will do project B first. Then, if time permit, I will go to project A. This is the decision criteria under payback period. So this method is payback period method. It's a very simple method, but this method is suffering from one major limitation. The major limitation is payback period does not consider time value of money. It is not based upon time value of money. Next method we will discuss, that is known as ARR method. That is accounting rate of return method or ARR method. This ARR method is the single method which is based upon accounting profit. All other methods, whether payback period method or NPV method or PI method or IRR method, all methods are based upon cash flow. But this is the only method, accounting rate of return method. It is based upon accounting profit. In this case, the decision is taken on the basis of future expected accounting profits, not on the basis of future expected cash flows. Hence, in this method, if cash flow is given, we have to convert the cash flow into accounting profit. That means if with the cash flow, we make adjustment of depreciation and non-cash items, we will get accounting profit. Accounting profit is the profit after tax. After tax profit or PAT is the accounting profit. So, accounting rate of return method, in this case, we calculate ARR, accounting rate of return. How we calculate accounting rate of return? We calculate accounting rate of return with the help of following formula. What is the formula? ARR is equal to profit after tax divided by book value of investment. Profit after tax by initial investment. If we multiply it with 100, we'll get ARR in percentage form. If we will not multiply it, we'll get ARR in point form or decimal form. So let's take an example to calculate ARR. Then we'll discuss how decision criteria, decision is taken under ARR method. Example number 6.4. Let's take an example. This is an example in which the life of the project is 5 years. The cash flow is given. Cash flow after tax is given. Depreciation is given and interest is given. In case of cash flow, we do not consider depreciation and interest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years are there. Every year cash flow figure is given. Every year's depreciation figure is given. Every year's interest figure is given. When we calculate PAT, we adjust depreciation and interest out of which. So if we will calculate PAT of 5 years, this is the cash flow of 5 years, we have to deduct depreciation money and we have to deduct interest money from cumulative cash flow money to get the PAT of 5 years. So in this case, the PAT of 5 years is 45,800 minus 30,000 minus 2,000. It is coming to 45 minus 32, that is equal to 13,800. This is the PAT of entire 5 years. And if you will calculate average PAT per year, we have to divide it by 5. So 45,800 minus 30,000 minus 2,000 divided by 5. This is the average PAT. Divide by investment. What is the investment made in the project? In the question it is given, the investment is 30,000. So by 30,000, hence the ARR is coming 9.2%. This is the accounting rate of return method. In this case, we calculate ARR of the project. That means if we will do this project, it is expected that we'll get a return of 9.2% in terms of accounting profit per year. But every entrepreneur has a desired ARR. Suppose I am an entrepreneur, I decide that in any project, if I will not get 15%, I will not put my money. But in this case, I calculated before putting my money, what is the expected ARR I am getting from the project? And it is coming to 9.2%. And my desired ARR is equal to 15%. That's my desire. So in this case, I will not put my money. I will reject the project because it is less than my desired ARR. So in this case, how decision is taken? We have to compare the calculated ARR with desired ARR. If calculated ARR is greater than desired ARR, in that case, only we will put our money, we accept the project. Similarly, if there are two projects, one project is giving ARR of 10%, first project, it is given 10%, second project, it is given 20% ARR. Which one to choose? We have to choose that project which provides higher ARR. We have to select the project which provides 20% ARR. So this is ARR technique. It is another popular technique of capital budgeting. But as we have already discussed, this technique is also suffer from some limitation. The first limitation of this technique is based upon accounting profit. And the accounting profit can be manipulated with the help of creative accounting, with the help of cooking the books. This is the first important limitation. Second and most important limitation of ARR method is ARR does not consider the time value of money. It is not based upon time value of money. So it does not consider PBM, and there is chance of manipulation of accounting profit are the two important limitation of ARR method. So the traditional methods suffers from limitation because they do not consider time value of money. They are not based upon present value concept. Hence, we go for modern methods of capital budgeting. And these modern methods are known as discounted methods. And these are also known as time adjusted methods. Discounted methods, time adjusted methods, or modern methods. In modern methods, three methods are important. What are the three methods? First method is NPV method, net present value method. Second method is IRR method. Third method is profitability index method, PI method. So in this method, modern methods, we will study regarding three methods: NPV method, IRR method, and PI method. First, we will go to NPV method, net present value method. What is net present value method and how decision is taken under net present value method? Now, net present value, NPV. NPV simply means it's the difference between present value of inflows and present value of outflow. So NPV is equal to PV of inflow minus PV of outflow. We have to compare the present value of inflows of a project with the present value of outflows of a project, and we have to take this sum. If present value of inflow is greater than present value of outflow, the NPV will be greater than 0. And if NPV is greater than 0, we accept the project because we are generating some net present value which is known as wealth. We are generating wealth only when NPV of a project is greater than 0. If NPV of a project is less than 0, we should reject the project. Why we should reject the project? We should reject the project because it will erode wealth of the farm. Hence, under NPV method, we have to calculate present value of inflows and present value of outflows. We have to deduct present value of inflow from present value of outflow and find out the NPV. Let's take an example, then we will understand how NPV is calculated. Let's take an example. Suppose there is a project, and in this project, the cash outflow is 4,000. Let's take an example. Outflow is 4,000. That means if we will do the project right now, we have to spend 4,000. And the project is of 5 years. The lifetime of the project is 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each year we will generate this type of cash inflow. In first year, we will generate an inflow of 1,000. Second year, we will generate an inflow of 1,000. Third year, 1,000. Fourth year, 1,000. Fifth year, 1,000. The outflow of the project is 4,000, and in each 5 year, we generate an amount equal to 1,000, that is inflows. Now a common man will add the inflow. He will get 5,000 and he has to put 4,000. He will tell that I will get a profit of 1,000. I should do the project. For a common man, for a layman does this because he does not consider time value of money. But as a finance professor or as a finance professional, what we will do? We will discount these cash flows. Let's take an example. The discount will be done at an interest rate which is equal to the cost of capital of the business. So the discount rate, first we have to fix the discount rate or interest rate. Let's take an example. The discount rate or cost of capital of the business is 10%. So we have to discount these inflows at 10%. So what we will do, we have to calculate a concept called present value factor at 10%. How present value factor is calculated? Simply in the calculator, you write 1 divided by 1.10. It is coming 0.909. Why 1.10? Because interest rate or discount rate is 10%. If the discount rate will be 12%, we must have written 1 divided by 1.12. If it is 5%, we must have written 1 divided by 1.05. But in this case, it is 10%. So we have to write 1 divided by 1.10. We get 0.909. If further with 0.909, we again divide 1.10, we get the present value factor for the second. If further we divide 1.10, we'll get the factor for third year. If again we divide 1.10, we'll get it for fourth year. If we'll divide again for 1.10, that we will get for fifth year. What does this means? What does these figures means? 0.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.683, 0.621. What does it figure means? It simply means 1 rupee received after 1 year is equal to 0.90 paisa received today. 1 rupee received after 2 years is equal to 0.82 paisa received today. 1 rupee received after third year is equal to 0.75 paisa received today. 1 rupee received after 4th year is equal to 0.68 paisa received today. 1 rupee received after 5th year is equal to 0.62 paisa received today. So we are calculating the value in today's term. The value in today's term is known as present value. So what we have to do, we have calculated inflows, we have calculated the present value factor, we have to multiply inflow with present value factor and we will get present value of cash inflows. What are the present value of cash inflows? 1000 into 0.909, that is 909. 1000 into 0.826, 826. 1000 into 0.751, 751. 1000 into 0.683, 683. And 1000 into 0.621, that is equal to 621. If you will add these, you will get 3790. That means the present value of cash inflows equal to 3790. And if you will, that means if you will do this project in today's term, we will get 3790. But we have to pay 4000 today. So less present value of cash, less present value of cash outflow. Outflow is 4000. So in this case, we generate a negative NPV of that is equal to 210. If a project generate negative NPV, we should not do the project. But for a common man, the project gives a profit of 1000. But for a finance person, the project gives a negative NPV of 210. Common man will tell we should accept the project, but a finance professional will tell we should not do the project, because if you will do the project, there will be erosion of wealth amounting to 210. This is how we take decisions under NPV method, net present value method. Let's take an example. Suppose there are two projects, project A and project B. NPV is given. NPV of project A is 5000 and project B is 8000. Then in this case, which project we have to accept? We have to accept, if we have to choose one, which one to accept? We have to select project B. We have to select this project and we have to reject this project if we have to choose one. Or if you have to prioritize the project, first we will do project 1, next we will do project 2. This is how the decision is taken under NPV method or net present value method. Next method of capital budgeting is known as IRR method. What is IRR method or internal rate of return method? IRR is a discount rate. Please see, IRR is a discount rate. IRR rate is a discount rate. Let's take an example. IRR of a project is 15. That means if we discount the project at 15%, the NPV will be 0. So what is IRR? IRR is a discount rate at which if we will discount the project, we will get NPV is equal to 0. It means at this rate, at IRR rate, will be equal to present value of outflow. If we discount the project at any rate below IRR rate, IRR is 15%. If you discount the project at 14%, 13%, 12%, we will get positive NPV. So if we discount the project below IRR rate, we will get positive NPV. If we discount the project at above IRR rate, in this case IRR is 15%. If we discount it at 16%, 17%, 18%, 19%, NPV will be negative. So what is my concept? IRR If we discount the project at IRR rate, NPV will be 0. If you discount the project at any rate below IRR rate, NPV will be positive. If you discount the project at any rate above IRR rate, NPV will be negative. Generally, we discount the project at a rate, that rate is known as cost of capital. So, in case of IRR, we compare two things. We compare IRR and cost of capital. Let's take an example. Suppose IRR is 15% and cost of capital of the project is equal to 13%. We should do or do not do? Yes, we should do the project. Why we should do the project? Because if we will discount at 13%, we will generate a positive NPV. Let's take an example. If cost of capital is 17%, whether we should do it or not? No, we should not do it, because if cost of capital is 17%, then what will happen? The NPV will be negative. So what is the decision criteria? The decision criteria is we have to compare two things. If cost of capital is greater than IRR, we should reject the project. Second, if cost of capital is less than IRR, we should accept the project. This should be our decision criteria under IRR. Now, we will discuss how to compute IRR. We have discussed the decision criteria under IRR, but how to compute IRR or internal rate of return or that discount rate which equates present value of inflow with present value of outflow. How to compute it? Generally, IRR can be easily calculated with Excel sheet or with a spreadsheet package. In Excel, if we will use mathematical formula under which mathematical function or financial function, in both cases, we have a concept to calculate IRR. In that mathematical function or financial function, we will put the data and we will get the IRR of the project. But in examination situation, how to calculate IRR? In examination, computers are not provided. In that situation, we have to calculate IRR with a method that is known as heat and trial method. What is heat and trial method? We will assume some rate, whether it is IRR or not, then we will find out the IRR by taking heat and trial method. Let's take an example. What are the example? A project is there and the project inflows, cash inflows are there. What is the cash outflow of the project? The cash outflow of the project is 100. What is the inflow of the project? First year 40, second year 35, 30, 25, 20. And we have to calculate IRR. This much figures is given, year is given, net cash outflow is given, and inflows is given, and we have to calculate IRR. What we will do? We will assume, let's assume the discount rate is 20%. And we will calculate discount factor and NPV. The NPV coming under 20% is minus 4.9. NPV coming under 20 is minus 4.9. Similarly, we will calculate another discount rate that is 10%. And the NPV coming under 10% is 17.3. One is minus, another is plus. We have to calculate two discount rate, in which in first rate NPV will be minus and in second rate NPV will be plus. Once we get this type of two rates, we can easily calculate IRR by applying a formula. Formula is IRR is equal to lower rate plus NPVL by PV into R. What is lower rate? We know this minus 4.90 is at 20% rate. 10%, this is at 10% rate. So what is the formula? IRR is equal to LRD. What is LRD? That is equal to lower rate. What is the lower rate? 10% plus NPVL. What is NPVL? At lower rate or NPVL is the lower rate, the NPV at lower rate. What is the NPV at lower rate? We have to calculate NPV at lower rate. What is the lower rate? That is 10% is the lower rate. What is the NPV at lower rate? NPV at lower rate is 17.30. Divide by, we have to calculate PV. What is PV? PV is the gap between IRR or NPV of two rates. What is the gap? 17.30 minus 4.9. We have to add हो जाएगा ये 17.30 plus 4.9. It will come to 22.20 into difference between rates. What is difference between rate? 10% and 20%. The difference is coming 10. And if you will solve this, you will get the IRR rate. The IRR rate will be how much? 17.8. It is calculated 17.8. The 17.8% will be the IRR rate. Okay. Next, we will discuss a comparison between NPV and IRR. But which rate, which method we have to adopt, whether we have to adopt NPV method or IRR method. What is the comparison? What is the difference between NPV and IRR? Now please see, there are two types of projects. One is conventional and independent projects. What is conventional project? Conventional projects are those projects where cash outflows will be in initial period. पहले 1-2 साल में cash outflow होगा. Cash outflow will be in initial period and cash inflow will come in subsequent period. That type of project is known as conventional project. And what is independent project? Independent project means one project is appraised at a time. In case of conventional and independent project, NPV and IRR give same result. NPV and IRR give same result. But there are chances that in case of non-conventional project and mutually exclusive project, what is two project? Non-conventional project and mutually exclusive project, IRR and NPV may give different result. Mutually exclusive project means those projects, there are two projects, you have to accept one and reject one. That type of project is known as mutually exclusive project. Head and tail, mutually exclusive. Male and female, mutually exclusive. Similarly, there are two projects, project A, project B. You have to select either one. That is known as mutually exclusive project. In case of mutually exclusive project, you have to select one project. And in that case, there may be conflict between NPV and IRR. Similarly, in non-conventional project, there can be conflict between NPV and IRR. What is non-conventional project? Conventional project is those projects where cash outflow is in initial year and cash inflow comes in subsequent year. In subsequent years, cash outflow does not occur. But non-conventional projects are those projects in between. Suppose there is a project of 10 years. After 6 years, another 50,000 money you have to put for overhauling of the machine. In those cases, there may be conflict between NPV and IRR. Where there is conflict between NPV and IRR, we have to select the project on the basis of NPV. because NPV means wealth. The main objective of financial management is to maximize the shareholders' wealth. Hence, if there is conflict between NPV and IRR, we have to select that project where NPV is higher. NPV is a better method than IRR in case of if there is a difference between two projects in case of non-conventional and mutually exclusive project. Next, another method is there. That method is known as profitability index method. What is profitability index method or PI method? In case of PI method, we calculate profitability index. PI is equal to, how PI is calculated? Present value of cash inflows divided by present value of cash outflows. Let's take an example. The present value of cash inflow of a project is 50,000 and present value of cash outflow of the project is 40,000. So what is the PI of the project? The PI of the project is 1.25. What does it mean? It means that if you will put 1 rupee in this project, that 1 rupee will become 1.25 rupees. So how to take decision under PI? आप अगर 1 रुपया डालते हैं, वो 1 रुपया से ज्यादा बनता है तो जाकर प्रोजेक्ट को एक्सेप्ट करें. अगर 1 रुपया डालते हैं, 1 रुपया से कम बनता है तो प्रोजेक्ट को रिजेक्ट करेंगे. In simple terms, if PI is greater than 1, we have to accept the project because it will generate positive NPV. Accept the project. And if PI is less than 1, we have to reject the project. This is the simple formula, decision criteria under PI. 1 rupee investment in project becomes how much? That is PI, profitability index. Let's take an example. If there are two projects, project A and project B, the PI of the project A is 1.25 and project B is 1.50. Which one to choose? आप अगर प्रोजेक्ट ए में 1 रुपया डालते हैं, वो 1 रुपया 25 पैसा बनता है. प्रोजेक्ट बी में 1 रुपया डालते हैं, 1 रुपया 50 पैसा बनता है. कौन से प्रोजेक्ट को आप सिलेक्ट करेंगे? सिंपली you have to select project B. You have to select this and we have to reject this. If we have to choose one, if we have to prioritize it, first we will do project B, then we will do project A. This is profitability index method. Profitability index method. Profitability index simply means present value of cash inflows divided by present value of cash outflows. This is the formula of profitability index. So, in today's class, we have discussed different methods of capital budgeting. What are different methods? We have discussed traditional methods. We have discussed modern methods. The traditional methods are simple methods, but the modern methods are complex methods. Traditional methods do not consider time value of money, but modern methods consider time value of money. Hence, traditional methods are not scientific, but as they are simple, they are very popular methods. The modern methods are scientific bit complex, but those are scientific methods. A finance professional should follow the modern methods for appraising the capital budgeting decisions. Now, we will discuss what are the limitations of capital budgeting. The capital budgeting decisions are based upon three things. You have to estimate three things. You have to estimate what is the investment made in the project. before making investment, you have to estimate the capital investment. Then you have to estimate the cash flow generated in the project. Then you have to estimate the estimated life of the project. You have to find out investment. You have to find out the cash flows. You have to find out the life of the project, which these three cannot be easily estimated. Hence, there is problem in estimation of capital investment, problem in estimation of return of cash flows, and problem in estimation of project asset life. These are the three important limitations. If we can estimate these three variables in advance, we can easily apply modern techniques of capital budgeting or traditional techniques of capital budgeting and appraise the project. So we have discussed regarding capital budgeting decision. Capital budgeting decisions are long-term investment decisions. These are the decisions in long-term capital projects. So there are 5 important methods of capital budgeting decisions: payback period method, accounting rate of return method, NPV method, IRR method, and profitability index method. We have to choose one of the important method to find out acceptability of the project. In this session, we have discussed capital budgeting. We'll now discuss some of the important questions related to capital budgeting decisions. One question is, examine different type of capital project and explain why they are approached differently. Next, what is payback period? Why it is popular? We have discussed payback period is the period in which amount of money is recovered. Why it is popular? It is popular because it is simple method. But what is its limitation? Its most important limitation is it does not consider time value of money. Another question is, what is IRR? What is IRR? IRR is that discount rate which equates the present value of inflow with present value of outflow. Are the IRR and payback related? Yes, they are related. In case of conventional and independent project, both IRR and payback period give the same result. But in case of non-conventional and mutually exclusive project, there may be conflict between IRR and NPV method. Next, what are the essential limiting factors for reliability of capital budgeting measurements? There are 3 things we have to measure. First, investment. Second, cash flows. Third, we have to measure the life of the project. Discuss the cost of capital as a device for establishing cut-off rate for capital investment proposal. We have discussed in every capital investment proposal, while calculating modern methods, we have to use a discount rate, required rate, minimum rate. That minimum rate is equal to cost of capital. With this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for attending the class. Thank you all.